we have a solution. The Whine No Whine Show, where you can be friended and offended all in the same hour, where we gather people from all different walks of life and perspectives, and we talk about everything that everyone has told you not to. Religion, politics, and everything under the sun. Nothing is off limits, and we do it all over a glass of wine. So grab a glass and join us as we save America, one civil conversation at a time.
3, 2, 1, action!
Hello! Welcome to the beautiful Whine No Whine Show, Artist Edition. I am the special host today, Caitlin Lysat. Hello, beautiful people. And we have an awesome group of guests today. I would love for them to introduce themselves. Over to our right, we have Miss.
I'm Monica Gauna.
Alrighty. Who are you? What do you do? And how can we find you?
I'm in events promotion. You can pretty much just find me on Facebook right now. I'm not going to be doing an Instagram.
Oh, okay. So what's
I
your
manage
Facebook
bands. I put together big events. I put together big tours. And right now I'm looking for the next big talent in Houston.
name? Ooh, so the next big talent, find her at Facebook. What's your
At monicaGauna.facebook.
How you spell your last name?
Gauna.
All right. I had a problem with that earlier, so I had to ask.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Alrighty, and over to our other guest over here.
Hey,
Who are you?
My name is Alexander Van Fleet. I am a photographer, designer, videographer, world traveler. I really don't do much, honestly.
He says that, but you just
I
said
just happen to be
everything that you
Chris's
do.
friend that happens to get on the show every now and then.
He's just humble. Come on.
I just needed something to do today.
One of the best events.
But no, you can find me on Instagram at AVFMyLife. That's AVF, Alexander Van Fleet. And then on Facebook, facebook.com/AVFimages. And yeah, check out my art, check out my work, send me a friend request, give me a like, give me a share. Check it out.
Beautiful, beautiful. And over here?
Oh, me.
You still
I am
have
a
to
guest
introduce
today.
yourself.
I'm so excited to be a guest and get to spew my opinions out. My name is Chris Minnemeyer. I am the lead coordinator and owner of And Art, also co-owner of Texas Music and Art. You can find my art at CM and Art, the And Art Network on YouTube. Please subscribe to this show. We will be changing actually the show here in a little while. It's going to be called The Art of Dispute. Start September. But normally I do abstract art for commission based mostly. So if you have a concept that you love to be abstractalized, I don't know the word,
Abstractified.
Abstractalized. Get with me, and we can make something beautiful to hang in your house, and you can talk about it with your friends and family.
Very, very nice. Thank you, thank you. And over here, Mr.
My name is Christopher Scott, and I'm a singer-songwriter who's living in Atascocita right now. I'm 17 years old and still going to high school, so I've got one more year. You can find me on Facebook at Christopher Scott Musician, and then my Instagram, it's going to be a bit to spell out, so it's htx dot, and then my name, CHRIS, with periods in between each letter, so if that makes sense. If not, then you can find it somewhere else, probably through my Facebook.
It'll be in the link below.
So yeah.
Got you. There'll be a link. Alrighty. Thank you, guys. So our topic today, should an Orthodox Jewish caterer be forced to make a ham for a Christian wedding? Christian wedding.
Nah.
Hey.
Sorry, I was having a little fun with that one.
Oh, that's fine. You wait on your turn.
Oh,
then.
no, I
Okay.
didn't.
Anyways, so our first view, we're going to shift over back to Miss Monica. How do you feel about it?
I don't think anybody should be forced to do anything. I think that people that have their own businesses should be able to decide who they serve and who they don't serve. And I think that there's a lot of examples. We can do the what-isms, but in any what-ism that you look like, what if it's this or what if it's that? I know it always comes down to there's going to be some people who are not going to be happy, and there's going to be some people who are being made to do something they're not supposed to have to be made to do. So, and if people are worried about discrimination or anything like that, don't support those businesses that discriminate. Let them out themselves.
Okay, so let the market decide. Like it. Okay. How about you? Alexander?
Well, I personally agree, and I believe that, any business really should be able to define the products it serves and the services that it offers, and, of a orthodox, kosher baker or caterer, being marketed as that, well, why are they getting dragged into a Christian wedding? But I think kind of the big difference with that is, as a business being able to define their products and their services versus, not turning them away because they're Christian, but being able to define their products and services as who they are, not, kind of like the difference with, recent events within like Colorado where they had the gay couple that was turned away for having their wedding cake being made because the Christian bakery didn't support,
You're right.
gay marriage. I think it's a difference between defining your service and your product versus denying a customer because of what they are.
Okay.
If that makes sense, defining yourself versus denying because of what someone is.
Okay. I like that.
Standing your own ground instead of telling someone else what they need to be.
Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what I need to be. All right, I like that. How about you, Chris? What do you think?
I think that if we allow discrimination for any reason, whether it be religion, gender, race, I think that we are going to end up in a position like in the 60s where we had the minorities forced into ghettos and forced to use their own network of restaurants and whatever it may be of services, and they're not even given the chance or to come out of that environment and experience other things because they're the minority.
Yeah.
And I think that if we start
So you think it's
discriminating
more
with one thing,
discrimination?
then I think that it's a slippery slope.
You need chickens.
Yeah, I really think when it comes down to the ham and the Christian or the Jewish caterer and the ham and the Christian wedding, I think that if you are a Christian, I think that you would, or anybody really, you would come to somebody and respect their religion, right? And not try to force that on them.
Okay.
And if if you're trying to force something on anybody, like you were saying, I don't think that they have to do it, but I don't think we should have a free stance. I think there should be rules in place.
So you feel like there should be rules in order to protect discrimination of certain people?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes,
Okay,
because there's
okay,
a
I
lot
like
more
that.
of
But you shouldn't
us
be
than
able
that.
to force somebody either. Unless...
I mean, if you say you're say somebody won't serve atheists, right? I'm an atheist, and I go in and I say, I would like your Christian ham, and they say no because I'm an atheist. Now it's kind of the reverse role where they provide the service, but they won't give me the service because of who I am, versus they have the service and they don't have the service and they won't provide the service.
Okay, I got you.
So the slope is a little slippery, and I feel like there should be rules in place.
Okay, very nice. How about you over there, Mr. Chris?
I feel like if we want to take the Colorado incident, for example, the business was a private business, and I believe that a private business, whether it's a family-owned bakery or in this case it was a bakery, or if in our scenario if it's a catering business, they have every right to say no to somebody based off of their own beliefs. And kind of like what you're saying, Alexander, it's about setting your ground as who you are. And I feel like part of that is, at the beginning, yes, it's saying, okay, this is what I believe, this is what I want to do, whether it's religion or sexuality, whatever you want to throw into the spectrum. But at some point along the lines, you're going to bump into that problem of this person who's against what I believe is wanting something that I have, or it may be against my religion to give that person what I have or what they need. And a lot of times I feel like our country's become more self-centered and self-minded in the sense that a lot of times events that happen like this aren't because the person providing or refusing to provide the service is necessarily against them or like they hate them for what they believe. It's just a self-worth. Like, for example, for the Orthodox Jew, for themselves, their religion is strictly based off of not eating ham.
Yes.
So if a Christian came in and asked for that, it wouldn't be because he wouldn't say no because you're a Christian. It would be no because I can't do that based off of my faith.
Okay.
So I feel like if you want to, you've kind of got to look at it from both sides, because if I walked into a bakery and got turned down, I know I'd immediately say, well, that hurts me. But on the other side, you've got to imagine, like, who are they? What do they believe? You know, there's a reason behind their conclusion of not providing the service. So I wouldn't necessarily call it discrimination, but it would just be a means of you have your own self-worth and self-belief. In this case, it's faith. And if you're strong on that faith, then that's something that you wanna keep.
Okay, I got you. So what we have here is just kind of like your religious freedom, you know? So for the Colorado incident, I feel like that was based more on a sexuality identity more than it was religion. That's just my opinion though, but that's not relevant. Anyways.
I'm playing both sides of the fence on this one.
Yeah, but I liked your stance on how if it were up to the person to be able to do something and it was against their own belief to, you know, create and prepare a ham, that's a little bit different than just making a cake for somebody, that you would say.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter on which the service you're providing is. If the Jew is a caterer, doesn't want to make ham, or if it's a Christian who doesn't want to make a cake for a gay person, what matters is whoever the person is denying whatever it is, they have their own beliefs and they have every right to stand by that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that's then, like I said at the beginning of my statement, was if it's a private business, they have that whole right. Now, if we're talking about McDonald's and the dude behind the counter is a Jew, or let's say he was a Christian and a gay couple walked in and he said, I'm not going to help you because that's against my religion, then he should be fired from that job, because you've gotten yourself into a public restaurant where anyone can walk in and order food and receive that food.
That's true. Okay. So
You had an interesting point about slippery slopes, but it can go both ways. When you start policing business owners, I'm a business owner. I discriminate every day, freely. If I don't like the way you carry yourself, I'm not going to give you my services. And if I start getting a bad rep, that'll be my own fault. Now, when I discriminate more on just a feeling. Like if I don't get a good vibe from someone, or maybe I don't think their music is a fit. There was a guy who recently asked me to take on a band that was, I think the genre was porn gore. I don't want anything to do with porn gore. I blocked him. Am I going to get called out for that? Am I going to get sued? Of course not. I respect a Christian baker's right just as much as the Jewish Orthodox right to be set in their way of what they want to do things. What is the point of even building something in this country and having your own business if you can't discern between who you want to serve and who you don't want to serve?
I see your point. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it just comes down to a line of self-preservation versus self-projection. Like with the instance with the caterer, it is that preservation of this is what my services are, this is what my business is, this is what my company is. And then with the case with like Colorado, with where it comes an issue of sexuality, it is a case of self-projection, projecting my beliefs on
to other people
of, you know, what you're doing isn't right or who you are isn't right, you know, asking me to do something out of, you know, flip the case with the Christian wedding and the kosher baker or the kosher caterer. If you go into a vegan restaurant and order a hamburger, it's going to make you look like a crazy person. But with the case of, you know, sexual identity or religious identity, if I'm denying you service, you know, even if you made it a matter of skin color, you know, if I denied somebody, you know, to do a photo shoot with them because they weren't, you know, the skin color I wanted them to be, that's my projecting onto somebody else and telling them what they are is wrong. You know what I mean?
Well,
that line between am I protecting my own beliefs, or
Are
am
you
I
saying it's
projecting
wrong?
my beliefs onto somebody else?
Or are
Okay.
you just saying you don't want to do business with them? I mean, like,
Well,
I feel
like
like
your points. Hold on. Chris was next.
Oh.
And then you're next.
Uh,
Hold on to your points.
Cool.
You got it. You got
So my thing with this is, well, with the cake and the ham, the guy didn't offer ham services. You know, he has
He has
a
his own
catering
needs,
service that
right?
is kosher, so he doesn't offer ham. But when you go to the cake baker and you say,
I just want to.
I want a cake, and you bake cakes, it's a little different because it isn't walking into a
Christian
vegan
cake
restaurant.
baker.
A
Christian
Christian cake baker. I feel like if you offer a service that's baking cakes and somebody comes to buy a cake, where's the line when you say, well, I don't like black people then, and I'm not going to serve black people. And then we have a whole
then you lost out on a lot of business.
we have a whole McDonald's type business
She's a business.
denying services to people who want them and who should not be denied those services because
For every person
I mean,
that's going to
this is
say, I
free
don't
market,
want
right?
that, there's
I
going to be
get
10
you.
more
So
that
you believe in
will.
the free market?
it's a free
A
market.
little bit though,
It's
but
a
you have
consumer's
a little,
market, right?
You
That
have
I
a
mean,
little bit of rules there.
This
though.
is a lot of whatism, though, y'all. Do y'all really?
Yeah, it is a
Come
lot. It
on
is a lot
now.
of wisdom.
I'm just saying, who would be so stupid? I mean,
Well,
like, seriously.
Say how you feel.
A whole country 60 years ago was that stupid.
Yeah, I agree on that, but
and
true.
But
and
when it-
that's the slope we're going towards when we're allowing someone who says, I bake cakes, but I won't bake them for you.
would you really want to
But-
force someone to make you a cake and eat that cake? Because I sure as hell wouldn't want
Absolutely
to.
not. It's a great point.
They could have put
it all
poison
comes
in
down
it,
to
you
though,
know?
because like
Yeah.
in both scenarios that y'all were talking about, when it came to race, for like what y'all brought up,
Yes, for discrimination.
if it was me, if I was a baker and I said I don't want to bake this cake because he's black and I hate black people, that's discriminatory. That's racism. If I was a Christian man who, in my belief, it says a man shall not lie with another man, a woman shall not lie with another woman, and a gay couple walked in, I should have every right to say no because it's what I believe. Now, it's a difference between if I was racist and I hate them just because of their skin color. I don't hate gay people. As a Christian teen, I don't hate gay people.
But Nazis
I know gay
were,
people.
Nazis, their faith was state. I mean, they believed in the state.
And they acted,
Right, and
and
you're
they
advocating
acted,
for the state to make
they
businesses
acted
do
upon it.
things
They
for your
acted upon
state.
it with hate.
I'm advocating for the state to
For more
have
government.
the government to have a broad outline of do not discriminate. I'm not saying you can't.
But
Because
I
we
don't.
have
I don't feel
laws
like
of
if you're
discrimination for employees.
If you
I
made
don't
it
feel
where
like-
everybody could just discriminate right now, how many people do you actually think would go, I don't want black people giving me their money. Give me a break.
the entire East County of Montgomery County would do that.
Give me a break.
I mean, I worked there.
But I don't feel like if it's a Orthodox Jew refusing to give a Christian man a ham, that's not discriminatory. That's just going against what he believes, and everyone has their right to religion is
Alright,
in
I
the
mean-
First
I
Amendment.
gotta stop everybody because I just have one question for everybody. I feel like this is so. We got discrimination going along here, but we also have something a little bit different. So we have religion, and then we have a Jewish caterer preparing a ham. Like, if anybody knows how to prepare a ham or how to cook in a kitchen, you know that there's a lot of cleaning to do, a lot of sanitation, a lot of everything. So it's providing a service that he doesn't really provide, or
Yeah,
it's
ordering
providing
off
a
menu,
service
right?
that is deep to his religion because he could contaminate other people that as his workspace too. You know what I mean? So instead, if it's more of a health included with religion, or if it's just based discriminatory. You know, we're going based on discrimination, like, oh, I won't serve this guy who's walking in with no shoes, get out. Instead, it's more of like I cannot provide this for you, no matter if you're Christian or not, because I do not do ham. It's a little bit different than I bake cakes, so everybody can have a cake, except you. Except you, not you. You can't have a cake.
I don't
You
want your
can't have a
cake if
cake.
you
The
don't want me to
opposite of
have it.
Oprah, you can't have a cake.
That's where I'm at.
what if it was
So-
healthcare?
So, what if instead are we going based on discrimination, or are we going based on what services will I provide and what services will I deny, based on yourself or others?
But when it comes down to it, it's based off of personal belief. Like if you were to sit down with the couple that refused the cake, if you were to sit down with the people who refused the gay couple a wedding cake, it wouldn't be because they hate gay people. They said it was because it's against their religion. But our country is becoming this state of like attack mode, like we're all the attackers or we're all the defenders. So if everyone's a defender and they're always defending themselves, they're going to take everything that comes at them as a personal attack to themselves, which is why we've gotten into problems with even calling each other by him or her or he or she. That's become a problem now because we all want to take it as a personal hit to the chest and hit to the face.
You just assume my agenda.
because like it's little things. Like we want to take it as a personal thing because we want to be the center. And that's just human being nature. We want to be the center of attention.
Oh, of course.
So if I walk into a bakery and get refused something, I'm not going to think twice about why not. I'm just going to turn around and walk out and be like, hey, yeah, don't go into there. They hate whatever I am. And which is more than likely what happened. They got refused because they were a gay couple and didn't think twice about, maybe it's because of their religion. They just thought, we've been discriminated against because we're gay.
Yes.
And didn't take the second... They didn't take the second chance at looking at it.
I kind of want to reiterate that the difference between self-preservation versus self-projection of I can't agree with the idea that you can't be a homosexual and a Christian. I personally was raised in the Jewish faith and am like totally unorthodox and practice yoga and like consider myself a Buju, but like for me to say
a Buju?
Buddhist Jew, it's kind of like very like
that's
modernistic
amazing.
Judaism.
Anybody have a parent?
But to be able to say like you can't be part of this religion because of that, because of your sexuality. To me, I don't agree with that.
It's not because.
But like I said, the difference between self-preservation of I'm preserving myself as this type of business or
hashtag Buju.
Out of all of that, that's what you're hooked on. But you know what I'm saying? Of like
the point I was trying to make.
Your beliefs are wrong. Right. You know what I mean?
The point I was trying to make was, I feel like it's not that. It's not that. Like I don't feel like anybody in that type of business is saying I can't serve you because you're not my religion or you can't be my religion.
And I think that's where the line is like. No, I can't do this because this goes against what I stand for. But
you
to
bake
say
cakes for a living,
right?
But if you advertise yourself as a Christian
how
bakery,
successful are you going to be?
Here's the thing. So
can I ask
the thing is, he doesn't want to
regulated.
Calm down. Calm down. One at a time. This is civil disagreement. Thank you. Alrighty, but I do have a question for you. So when you say based on your beliefs, and you know. If you don't believe like a man should be with a man, a woman should be with a woman, all that stuff. So what is it in you? What is it in a very religious person that it feels like it's going against their beliefs to like give a cake to somebody? Is it gonna harm them?
For me, me personally, like when it comes to the cake deal, I would have just baked the cake and went on.
But for them, you see their point, right?
Yeah, for them, I see their point. Yes.
Yeah. So
and
how do you explain
it just
it
goes.
that way?
It goes down to a matter of if you take the kosher deal for example, that's a physical action that they're told not to do.
Yes.
Like it's a physical thing. You can't eat pork. That's what the Jews are told.
Can't even touch it, right?
Right. Can't even touch it. Now can't
even smell it. Don't smell the bacon.
For Christians, the when the Bible says a man cannot lie with another man, it's a lot of times where guys don't get that like. I don't want to say urge because there's people that do get that urge, but the amount of times that like say eating pork for example, in a week you'll have more chance to eat pork than to find a dude to sleep with. So
they put bacon in everything, man.
So with that being the case, it's hard to the two cases are kind of different because you've got something that's so common, which is pork, and something that's also becoming common now, but it's like it's a deal with who you are as a person. If you put such a strong faith in the fact that you can't lie with another man, then it should be the same way.
But that's for your life, right?
Well, right.
Not somebody else's.
But that's where it comes to
what I'm
business.
trying to
If it's a private,
though, is you can bake a cake for a gay couple and still be a Christian baker. You can't bake a ham and still be a kosher caterer.
Yes, I agree with you completely.
Not technically. Like, if you're extremely orthodox, baking a cake, doing business with people who are not Christian, it's against religion. So, and I have friends who are actually, my guitarist is Orthodox. He won't even add me on Facebook. I'm too evil for him.
Oh,
He's still my good friend, but you know, everybody's talking about the what-isms and the discrimination. Imagine for a moment if if it doesn't matter? Okay, what if we just let everybody discriminate? What would happen? And I know you said the slippery slope, like, oh,
We'll be back
all
in
these
the 60s.
racists would come out. Okay, well, let them. How successful do you really think they're going to be?
They were really successful in the 60s. They
Well,
hurt a lot
this
of
is not the
minorities.
Because
60s.
of Jim Crow laws, though.
There
That
was a lot
government
going on then.
discrimination.
This is
What
2018.
about civil
Well, that's my
discrimination?
point with. Well, that's my point. Is it's slippery. What we're talking about here is we decided to put you cannot discriminate against sex, religion, or ethnicity, race.
But then
So
you have affirmative
those-
action. That's discrimination against people who aren't marginalized, straight white Christian males. So I mean,
Well, without
just saying, that's a slippery slope too.
it is. You're right. It is definitely you're right. But
This
if you
kid right
if you
here,
don't
he's the only one in the room right now that I know for a fact it's legal to discriminate against. I can say you can't even apply for a job in America because you're not what we're looking for. You're not marginalized. Now I'm a woman. I'm also Hispanic. So
And you know,
I'm
as
cool.
the rebuttal, I can say okay and go to a business that will accept me as
exactly,
an
but
employee.
exactly,
That's
but
the-
they're
that's
trying
the-
to give them. They're trying to make the businesses that would even accept you.
And that's
like,
the gift of this
that.
country is because we have such a big market that if I'm a private business that has the right to say no to a gay couple, there's gonna be someone down the street that's gonna say come on in, and say you know what, forget them, come
not
to our
with
business
government
only.
regulation though. That's why I don't agree with the government being involved in this.
I think
I
you
think
I
that
think
this
you
is-
are right in some points where when you're saying if you are a cake baker and you deny people cakes, how well are you going to do it?
You've played yourself.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
well are you really going to do? But
Congratulations.
uh,
You played yourself.
if
You'll be even worse off if you say I won't serve black people. I promise you.
But think about it
I
this way:
won't.
so if I advertise myself as a kosher,
I have a question real quick. So as a Christian,
Uh-huh.
would you play your music at a gay wedding?
sure,
Okay.
And that's just you personally, though.
right? That's just me.
So-
I feel like I'm strong
So
enough
you
in
don't-
my faith that I could go to a gay wedding, play a song, and leave and not.
So you don't think that they're not reacting off of their faith because they're not strong enough in their faith? They're reacting off of some prejudice because of
No, I feel like they'd be acting off
I
of
don't
their
think that's
faith because
prejudice.
it's there's people who are more strong in their faith and there's people who aren't.
they're all people.
Well,
that,
it's not
well,
always
right,
about
but
it's,
it's-
not always about faith too. It's about image. I mean, if you're a business owner, like the cake baker who make the cake, he said it was a centerpiece for the celebration of the actual wedding. So
It really
the
depends on how
centerpiece
fundamental you
actually
are.
represents his speech. His image, what he wants to put forth in the world. So, making a cake for a gay wedding is completely opposite of what he's trying to do. So that's a little bit different than just your faith. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So if, with that in mind, it would be like you playing your music in a very, very grungy strip club.
Mhm.
Would you do that?
No.
No, because that's not the place for it, right?
Right.
Okay, I got you.
But what
But-
if they're offering to pay you money though?
I mean, I still wouldn't. That's not my.
Chris has some real
That's not how I want to be seen.
But would you write a song for the gay couple if they asked?
Probably
Would you actually
not.
write one?
Probably not.
All right then.
That's the cake.
All right. Fair enough.
Mhm.
Okay.
The
So-
intellectual
Got
property.
That is intellectual property.
So
Alright.
I mean, I personally would definitely write the song. I mean, you are a songwriter.
True.
You present yourself as this is what I do,
Mm-hmm.
and then someone says, "Hey, I'm a person just like you. No matter my belief, my sex, my creed, my anything. Please write me a song." I mean,
Writing a song is
I-
like your soul, though. Really, like come
thing
on.
with-
It's
And
I-
baking
I mean,
a cake
I
is
write
your soul
for-
too.
I
It's
think-
art.
Okay,
It's a centerpiece for celebration.
I think, let's
I
think
want
about
cake.
it.
Where's the cake?
The
Let's
cake.
think about it this way. So
Yes,
if
for real. Hey, it's artists. Come on, artists. It's art,
let's
man.
think about it this way. So if there is, let's take like any rapper who's mainstream now. All they rap about is getting a car, making it hot, getting chicks, getting money, and having sex and doing drugs.
yeah.
That's what they are. And so when you hear that song and then you see that person pop up on your feed, that's what you think about. So now if that person who is decked out in chains and the nicest shoes, the nicest car, hops out of his whip and writes a love song, you're going to scroll up on that media feed, see that song, or see the picture of the person, remember that song and be like, man, he's got some real feelings. A$AP Rocky's a perfect example. He writes songs about doing sex and having sex, doing drugs, but then can write a slow song about how he loves somebody. So he's kind of mixed his character up. So it's a matter of a song that a singer writes defines who they are. So if I write a song for a gay couple and it talks about a gay marriage and having the gay lifestyle, then that's gonna show off on my character. Whether
you don't
I
think you're
speak or
capable
not.
of portraying your opinion and theirs in the same song?
Well, that wouldn't be a place to do it at a wedding. Would be to put my opinion
Right.
against theirs in a song.
Well,
Right.
what I'm saying is,
By the
I
way,
may
I
not-
don't think
well,
you should
I
get
may not
married.
believe it,
It's
but
against the
but
Lord's
your-
wishes.
I said I may not agree with it, but I feel you're human.
I mean,
you know?
if I don't,
Like,
I mean, I'm not
I mean,
saying
I don't
I'm
write
human.
songs.
I want a
but, like,
Nazi
Alright.
cake.
They're definitely.
Yeah.
I have the right to believe what I believe. I'm a Nazi, and I want a Nazi cake.
well, you're
I
just,
want you to bake it for me.
Right?
you're
Don't
just-
Alex? Are
discriminate
you
against
gonna
me.
bake it?
I'm human.
but you're discriminating against everybody, and you're asking me to play into that
All right.
because you're a
Who's she
Nazi.
discriminating?
I'm gonna make it a gay Nazi
As a Nazi.
cake, but
You're gonna make it a gay.
Okay. Make it shaped like
Come
a
on,
gun.
Alex.
it-
For real though. Like,
I mean,
well, not a cake. Okay, would you do a painting actually? Because cake is easy. You can buy that at
see,
Walmart. Put it in a pan.
that's an interesting thing of like
you're not used
somebody who, I'm kind of coexistent and don't really cling to one faith. If somebody came to me and was like, I want you to do this, very super religious Christian piece, it would be really uncomfortable for me to accept that.
Yeah.
Because a painting
and-
shows who you are as an artist.
But it wouldn't be me denying that person because of what they are. It would be me preserving my own beliefs.
Which was
I
my
agree with
which was
that.
my
and
point at the
that's
beginning of
where
this
I think the kind of the line is am I denying this service or am I denying this customer because of what I believe or because I believe what they are is wrong?
Which is what comes down to the
I
Colorado
think it's
incident.
okay
is
to
the,
believe what they are is wrong, though. I think we should
If
be
they're a
allowed to have
discriminating
opinions.
group, yes, I completely agree.
Read it out loud. Read it out loud.
We love your painting.
Read it
So
out
first of all,
We
who
just
is
hate
this that hates
Norwegian
Norwegian people? Because I've never heard that in my life.
that's the
We love your paintings, Alex. Thank you. We just hate Norwegian people, but we want a painting showing Norwegian people dying.
We just love poking the bear here.
I mean, I'll kill anybody in a painting, but
What you've done is you've
This is
created
on camera,
the
so we-
discriminator.
I really do
as the other
photography,
half.
so we're on a little wrong in the
Ooh.
spectrum,
I
but
like that.
What's
it- yeah.
Hold on. He had a good point he just brought up. Go for it.
What we're doing is we're saying that it's okay. It's not okay. I'm sorry. Let me just. What we're doing is we're switching the role and we're saying we should have to do stuff for people who discriminate.
So now we're switching it up, being like,
Be like, so why? Like, it's just like a prisoner or somebody who killed somebody. You're not gonna go open the door and let them in because they say so, right? Like,
Forcing anyone.
if they're not if they're not a hate group or they're not out there discriminating, you shouldn't be discriminating as you provide a service.
Yeah, but
Right.
that just doesn't allow for religious freedom. I'm sorry. Like, there is some discrimination within religion, and rightfully so, because what they believe in. Do I believe that? No. Oh, my gay friends would kick my ass. But at the same time, do I totally support? Because you have to realize there's not just Christians. There's Muslims. There's all sorts of, and it's funny because if we were talking about Muslims instead of Christian, I think this whole conversation would have gone completely different. But that's just me.
You're right.
well, you're right. Yeah.
I do. I think everybody would have been a
Some-
lot more
some
sympathetic
religions
towards
and
the Muslims.
right? They say if you kill yourself killing Christians, then right, like so.
Well, there's certain.
It's
I mean,
in the Hadiths.
where's-
It's in the
where's-
Quran.
Yeah, I mean, where's the line? They're a lot.
Well, what about
Kill-
from this
There shouldn't
standpoint?
be that line. If a Muslim person can turn somebody down for a certain reason, then a Christian
They
person
can
should
and
be
they
able to
do
turn them
every
down.
day.
Well,
but those gay people drove
see-
all the way past all those bakeries to go to
Exactly.
that one Christian bakery.
Exactly.
See, this is what I'm talking about, though. It's like religion too, and discrimination. But it's like anybody can discriminate anybody for any number of reasons. I don't like your haircut.
As they should be able
But,
to.
I don't like
but
color
exactly
dress.
right. Unless you're
We do it
providing a
every day.
service to
But
Yes.
we keep
well upstanding people.
we keep talking about like discrimination and stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of it is not discrimination. It's just personal being
Choices,
butthurt.
yeah. Your yeah.
You know, we are
Being
my
butthurt.
generation, and I'll
We
say
have
it to
that
a
too.
camera because I'm a part of the generation. We're a generation of being butthurt.
Oh my god.
We get butthurt all the time over the littlest things.
That's why we kind of have the
And
show.
Well,
wanna-
you have parents
and like
that do a
y'all-
shitty
and
job
like y'all were
raising you.
saying, like I was saying earlier,
Boomers.
like I was saying earlier, true discrimination was the 60s when people got killed, whipped, and hung because of their race. And it
And
was
that's-
because white people hated black people then. But now, they're-
Discrimination is still alive and well. As
Yeah,
long
but
as
You're
look
correct.
at
You're
that.
correct.
Look
You're
at that whole
correct. You're correct
situation
that it's
there.
still alive.
Wow.
Have
Wow.
y'all walked into a all-black establishment before and felt completely out of place? I mean, I have, definitely.
I grew
I've been
up
to a-
around a lot of black people, and I actually feel more nervous around all you crackers right now. But to be honest with you, when you go back to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and a lot of people always go to the 60s, and I'm not going to dig real deep into this because it's a very deep subject, but I just want you to put yourself in those people's shoes. Remember how they sent those kids to Alabama, and a good friend of mine named Aubrey Harper, I'll plug him right now because he's a genius. He made me research this. Do you know how many of those kids got chewed on by German Shepherds? How many of those kids got sprayed with hoses? Now imagine if you were black back then. Would it make sense for you to go, these white people don't like us, so we're going to force ourselves on them? That doesn't, it's kind of like you got to make a cake for me. It's like insanity. You know, and I know Malcolm X was a little cuckoo too. I'm not saying everything he did was right, but if I was back then and I was black, I would have been totally with Malcolm X. I would have been loading up guns and stuff. I wouldn't have been sending my kids to get chewed on dogs. I wouldn't have been sending my kids to go in a school of people that they knew hated them just to be, oh, well, we want to be a part of you. Nah, build your own shit. Because if you hate me, I do not want your service.
But
And
what they were doing was they were changing the way culture is for the future.
Well, yeah, but that could have
kids.
changed in a lot of different ways without their kids getting chewed on by dogs.
Yeah.
Well, they tried all the other ways,
Yeah.
and we just kept shooting them and
No, I
spraying
mean,
with
trust me,
hoses and
the white people were totally crazy back then.
well, yeah,
Believe me.
and that's kind of where I'm
It's-
coming from. Is just
However, I do
The
believe
mob
that
mentality is
desegregation happened on its own without the government. And remember, that government back there, when they showed Bernie Sanders marching with the civil rights, look into how much communism, how many commies were hanging out with
Bernie?
MLK and Bernie. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it wasn't like there wasn't other agendas with that.
oh no.
I mean, and
It's
there's a lot of
political.
stuff with
There's always
MLK, you
another
know.
I mean, it's still a fight for equality, and I
that's-
kind of want to just drill this kind of in there again of the difference between
How is it a fight for equality now?
self-preservation
Can
and
you elaborate?
Well,
well,
no,
the difference
we
between
will elaborate.
self-preservation and self-projection. You know, of I believe you can't be a Christian because you're gay. That's what it comes down to. Or I won't do this because of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're
I'm
never
like-
going to be equal.
I
We're all
feel
different.
like there's a
Well,
lot.
yeah, you know. So,
Fight for equality.
alrighty, we will be right back. Okay, it is time for our commercial break. So please have your ideas in your head. We will come back. Be sure to stick around, and when we come back, from a word from our sponsor, our production team has picked some of their favorite comments for the panel to discuss. So tune in. Also, we have special music from Christopher Scott over here. All right, thank you guys. We'll be back. Are we out?
Phil and Derek's Restaurant and Jazz Bar, located in the midst of bustling Midtown in Houston. You'll find a laid-back atmosphere and ambiance reminiscent of the comfort of your own living room, coupled with the flair of pizzazz and glitz from live New York-style cabaret entertainment 7 nights a week. Phil and Derek's is not only the ideal restaurant with a great, long-standing wine selection, but also with a full bar as well. Phil and Derek's stock and knowledge of wines, from Napa Valley wines, French Bordeaux's, Spanish and Argentinian wines, just to name a few, are the envy of wine connoisseurs far and wide. Phil and Derek's Sunday Brunch was voted Best Morning After Brunch for 3 consecutive years. Come indulge in the ample buffet of crepes, omelets, various salads, meats, complimentary mimosas, and much, much more. Enjoy delicious foods from the kitchen until midnight. We're equipped with large dining areas, ideal for every party need, whether business or pleasure. Come see and enjoy all that Phil and Derek's has to offer.
We are live.
Hello, welcome back. All right. We are back with our topic. Still, should an Orthodox Jew be forced to make a cake for a Christian wedding? That was really hard for me to do. I don't know why. Orthodox, it's so hard. It's a hard
Hits
thing.
me every time.
Anyways, so have y'all sat on your ideas, or do I need to bring up a refresher for you?
Yeah, I got it.
Play some music, right?
Oh, that's right.
I want to hear some music.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, no
yeah.
problem.
All right, special music from
I'm
Christopher
very
Scott.
orthodox. I just got pepperoni pizza. I'm sorry, Dad.
Alright. My name is
Mom.
Christopher Scott, 17 years old. I live in Tascasita right now, Tascasita, Texas, not too far from here. I'm going to be singing an original song I wrote a few weeks ago, and it's basically just a like how I feel about how we should be acting right now as a country and as humans. So yeah, hope y'all enjoy it. Enough with all the hate and shame. What's a shame is how far we came. People complaining that we don't have enough, when all we really need is each other's love. We've been blinded by all the negativity in our surrounding communities. It's time to take each other by the hand and stand up tall, proud of being American. 'Cause we are all just people living in society, going through the motions. We all stay caught up in each other and his or her beliefs compared to our own notions. It's time that we should all get along and stop all the beefing and act like we are grown. 'Cause we are all just people, ordinary people, living in the same world. So tell me, brother, do you understand? I'm only here to help, I'll lend a helping hand. Maybe, sister, now my message is clear. Be happy where you're at, no, please don't fear. And even though we are surrounded by negativity in our surrounding communities, it's up to us to break these chains of race and hypocrisy and start some change. 'Cause we are all just people living in society and going through the motions. We all stay caught up in each other and his or her beliefs compared to our own notions. I wish that we could all get along and stop all the beefing and act like we're grown. 'Cause we are all just people, ordinary people, living in the same world. You and me, we're not that far apart. Oh, 'cause we both have a beating heart. It's time we act like civil people. Love your brother, love your mother, treat your neighbor as your equal. 'Cause we are all just people living in society, going through the motions. We all stay caught up in each other and his or her beliefs compared to our own notions. I wish that we could all get along and stop all the beefing and act like we're grown. 'Cause we are all just people, ordinary people, living in the same world. Ordinary people, living in the same world.
Woo!
Thanks, man. That was awesome.
That is really good.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
Wow, that was
Amazing voice,
fantastic.
Now I want to
We'll give him to
say,
Sugar Hill and record him.
like, didn't we just talk about the opposite? Like,
Question for you
Hey, you
now.
don't suck.
You don't suck. Oh, that's a nice compliment. Very nice.
That's the nicest compliment I give.
Thank you.
that's a boogie.
Can't make their heads too big. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. Okay, Chris, that was a beautiful song.
Appreciate
like
it.
beautiful. How can
I'm just at a loss for
Stop.
words at this point.
I think she's
Do you feel
fangirling.
any Christian animosity there? Because I don't.
Exactly.
That's what
That's
Christianity
what I'm
is about.
saying. Well, we were all talking about discrimination. That is the anti-discrimination song. Like that's an anthem right there.
That was perfect
That is
time.
that is very
Jesus
nice.
didn't discriminate.
Mhm.
He
But,
hung out with
I
whores.
kind of have something, but like you kind of said that you're allowed to do that as a business owner privately. You're
Yeah.
allowed to discriminate, except for you just saying about.
I encourage
That's
people.
where,
to
that's,
do
where,
that.
that's where it comes down to what I was talking earlier about a songwriter and how
Projection.
their song represents who they are. In my opinion, and people have their opinions about this all the time. In my opinion, that's not discriminatory. Having the right to say no to somebody based off of what you
It's
believe
not.
isn't discriminatory. But if you go back to like the 60s, like y'all brought up before, that was straight discriminatory because they hated them because of who they were. In a lot of the scenarios now, which is what I was trying to make the point earlier, was like you were saying, self-preservation.
Preservation,
Like in
not
Colorado,
projection.
that was all on them. And they sat down and had that interview with the news, and they said it was all based off their own belief.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the scenarios that happen are based off of a person's own belief. But because, like I said earlier, we're a whole world of people who want it to be on us. We want to have the center of attention. And now stuff like that, if we say, oh, they discriminated against me because of who I am, that's going to spark some news and news stories coming here and all that stuff.
Okay, very nice.
I
like that.
encourage
like
all
that a lot.
business owners to discriminate agagst
Okay,
whoever they
Monica.
don't like.
Okay, Monica. Well, then
Give
you'll
me
love this
more
comment.
wine.
You'll love this comment, Monica. Ooh, Mrs.
Discrimination. for
Kalita
everyone.
Parsley. Hi, thank you for tuning in. She's so awesome. I love you. So it is.
Exactly.
Yep.
She said, "Yeah, it is the business loss. If a business doesn't want to serve me because I have blue and purple hair, then I will go to a business that does and leave a Google review and get on with life."
Which is the gift of America.
Smart lady.
All right, there you
The
go.
gift of
Monica.
America. There's
What
so
if
many
We want to
places.
know who you are
What
so
if-
we
I
can
want to see the
avoid
blue and
you.
purple
What
hair,
if
though.
every
Oh, she has great blue
single
and purple hair.
tire shop in your
I think it's-
area
It's
wouldn't
more
do that?
purple.
What if?
It looks good.
These what-isms,
What
I'm
if?
just
you know
saying,
that's
what
not
you-
realistic. I'm just saying we have a lot of stigma in the
not,
South
but
for being
it's already
racist, but I have
happened in
never
history.
seen a more tight-knit community than the one I live in.
All right, hold on.
So I'm just saying the stigma for the South. Oh no.
I just-
Devil's advocate. You can change your hair color. You can change your sexuality. Yes, you can. Apparently, according to
Yeah,
about
people are doing it now.
37% of people right now believe you can. So
I don't feel like you can
knows what
change
y'all
it. I
talking
feel
Yeah,
like you can
yeah.
just discover it.
Kalita says,
So-
devil's advocate, you can change your hair color, but not your
I didn't
sexuality.
know I was into that.
So,
You can change your hair color. Can you?
That's my comment. Sorry.
Change.
Yeah.
oh, no, wait, that wasn't
That's
Kalita.
not Kalita.
That was
That's
my
Joe.
producer.
That's straight Joe. I knew it when I read it, and I didn't want to read it. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Alrighty.
He left her name on there.
You can
That's pretty
change
funny. It was an accident.
You can change your hair color. Can you change your sexuality?
No.
Oh.
I feel like you can just discover it. Honestly,
What
I
do you
feel
mean?
like you can change it.
It was addressing her comment.
Yeah.
I think anybody can change their
well,
sexuality.
very
They
nice.
didn't ask if you could change your sex.
True.
Sexuality.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways,
I think
that was a
sexuality
comment
evolves.
directed at you, Miss
yeah,
Kalita.
we
So,
diverge.
you can talk to Joe about that one. Just no.
Oh, here's
All
a
right,
big
we
one.
have another one. Oh, Miss Sheridan Tonch. Hello, Sheridan. I love you. I assume it's a comparison to the bakery who wouldn't do the wedding cake for a gay couple. You're right. Here's the difference. To make that comparison fair, would it be fair for a Jewish caterer to deny to cater a Christian event with food they regularly prepare because they're a Christian, not Jewish? I think it's misaligned to run a business and not have a separation of personal beliefs and agenda. If marriage or Christians eating Jewish prepared food is legal and backed by civil right, they shouldn't deny that. It's a very good
But
topic.
that's
Okay.
Again,
so
if
glad
you
you
don't
put
want to
what
do
I can
something
say.
for me, I don't want it.
One at a time.
Here's your cake.
We're gonna start over here, one at a time.
All
You're
right.
gonna pick me.
Okay,
'Cause you're in the
so
middle.
as far as the whole should a Christian no, I mean if they're a business owner they're stupid for doing that, but at the same time, if why would anybody want somebody to give them a food whatsoever or any service knowing that those people hate them? Why would you want them to capitalize
Well,
off of you? I
that's
mean,
not
just-
that's not the question though.
Is anybody
do
here?
okay, well, do I think
I don't think it's a
that
matter of
I think that
hate,
any
but-
business owner should be able to discriminate about anything at any point, and that's it.
Is
All
there-
right, beautiful.
Even
How
bad
about
stuff.
you, Chris?
Has anybody here lived in a small town?
Yes.
So you know about discrimination, right?
Yes.
So the town gets behind this kind of thing eventually, and then it's a mob mass mentality thing. It's like it's not like everybody's in this huge melting pot that's Houston.
Yeah, you think everything's gonna snowball?
It's over there
I think
in the
in
where,
the
where they're
little bitty
in these
mom
little
and pop
communities,
shops and,
and
you know.
somebody who's Jewish moves into a Christian community and can't go buy bread.
That's not going to happen. That's a whatism.
It did happen to black people 60 years ago.
Do you know what else happened 60 years ago?
But history is going to repeat itself if you let.
Well, that's true, which is why I don't advocate for more government.
I definitely about no government, less government, but this is something for basic civil
alright.
rights.
I feel like though that we're still getting confused with the fact that was there true discrimination 60 years ago? Yes. And as you said, there is still today. Yes, there's always going to be someone who's discriminatory against somebody else. It's going to happen.
It's a human condition.
But the amount that's here now is way smaller than it was 60 years ago.
Oh,
and it's
Not
the
to mention
and
that
the
most
reason
of it
that
is
is- and the
against
reason
straight
why-
white Christian
but the reason why it's projected so much is because that's what people feed off of. That's what us as humans, we feed off of that drama of
Yeah, of
he hates him
course.
because of this.
Media bias.
That's why in these situations people jump to that conclusion of, oh, they didn't sell me this because of my race, ethnicity,
I'll tell
whatever.
you what,
They
as a
jump to
business
that
owner,
because
I
that's
just
what
want
we feed
as
off
much
of.
business as possible. If you, as
can-
a business owner, are more concerned about your actual fundamental beliefs, if you have a religion behind it, I
Okay.
support that. Now, if you actually are, now I know this is a whatism, but it's been brought up and brought up. Slippery slip. Okay, let's say I'm a business owner and I'm just a racist POS, okay? And
Point of sale system.
I'm aloha. Let's say that I just don't like black people or Mexican people or whatever. What do you guys really think would happen if that happened? Do you really, and I mean really be honest with yourself. Look at the demographics. Look at who's around you, who you know. Do you really believe that there would be that much support for a racist business? Because I don't. I think it would be shut down within a month.
Not here, not in Houston, no. But there's like the rest of Middle
Let them be
America.
that way.
That is true.
Let them
All
be
right.
that way, and let
Hold on.
those people go away.
We got one more comment. I want Chris and Alex to answer this one. Alrighty.
This one?
Yes. Paul Williams, there's always that, what if your God really is love? If this is held as proof or any foundational basis, then the no gays, no pagans, all that no, you can't blah, 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 get out of my club, that changes it, doesn't it? So,
Right.
I added something to your comment, Paul, sorry.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Go
the
blah,
blah,
blah.
blah, 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 on screen
I had
right
to add et ceteras.
Go ahead, but before we close, we need to talk about some art.
Oh, that's
You
right.
and some-
Hold your answer for your comment. I would love everybody to explain their art, explain themselves. First.
whoever wants to go
now.
first
We
over
start
there.
with me.
You're first. Yeah, we always start here. I'm gonna go in the middle now.
Well, my name is Alexander Van Fleet again, and I've been a photographer since I was about 12 years old, so for the past 16 years I've been behind a camera, and it's developed from traditional black and white photography, travel photography from Kenya and Africa, working with a nonprofit called African Angels, working with the military in South Korea, going to Israel, traveling all over the world, but mainly for me, what I believe we have a shot that they're going to show on screen of one of my pieces of work is my work really has, what it's been for me is it's been my escapism from, oh wow, that's me, that looks weird. It's been my channel for my depression, and a lot of it has been about, and actually what we're talking about, when I was first working in the fashion industry, I was told that my work was too dark or too, you know,
Keep
kind of
giving them that
brutal,
love,
and
yo,
I went
it's
darker, and for me it was really that self-expression of how you know, depression, beauty, and pain can all be one and the same, and really how the piece that's on the screen right now is from a series called The Werewolf Project. I call my depression my werewolf because it changes me and it takes over, and it's through using my photography, using editing, and then using spray paint that I come out with these paintings like this. And you know, it really has been about self expression and self-discovery, but yeah, I do all these canvas wraps and canvas paintings, and you can find a lot of them on my Instagram at AVF My Life.
I got one on a T-shirt, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple
I do.
T-shirts available. I'm actually working on setting up my own clothing printing company and doing clothing design. It's not available at the moment, but we do have several clothing lines and a clothing printing company that should be on the way within the next year or so.
Very nice.
But
Yeah.
it's still in the works, so hopefully next time I'm on the show I'll have more shirts.
I'm gonna have you back
Right.
before
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah, I want a shirt. Come on.
I want a shirt.
I know, right? All right,
love
Chris. Explain yourself.
Well,
And
Go ahead.
you want to give me first? Okay. So yeah, as y'all heard me sing, I'm a singer-songwriter. That was a song I wrote about 2 weeks ago. I've got a few more songs that are in the process of being finished recording, and I'm going to put them out on iTunes and stuff like that. But I know that my Facebook and Instagram will be plugged into the stream, so if y'all want to follow that, it shows a lot of videos of me doing covers of songs and like my everyday life and stuff like that. And it's got information to contact me on. I'm open to all gigs and stuff like that. So
I just like challenging thought.
won't turn anybody down. So.
Legs fist.
So if you want me to sing for you, go ahead and contact me through my Facebook. That's my biggest page that I can get contacted through. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed my song as well.
it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a
It
dope
was
song.
good.
man.
Appreciate it.
Is that
Alright.
song recorded anywhere?
It's not yet. It was.
It is.
Oh, it is now.
Go to
It'll be
YouTube.
beautiful. It'll be
I was
on
doing
YouTube.
this to your mom.
Heck yes. All right, Mr. Chris Minnemeyer, who the fuck are you?
Oh, hey! I'm the guy that painted this. She dropped
I
it.
said it so slyly.
The line's kicking in.
Late in the show.
We're gonna stand up and everything's gonna split into two.
Oh man,
The
I
host
tried
with the
so
most.
hard. You know how often I say that word every day?
This F-bomb brought to you by Caitlin.
Way better than I am.
So sorry.
That's great. Well,
Oh man.
I kind of went through a little bit before. I'll go through again. My name is Chris Minnemeyer. I am an abstract artist. I'm an event host and coordinator. I also coordinate and host this web show. And I own and operate Texas Music and Art and Art Network, which this show is going to be moving to in September. It'll be called the Art of Dispute. We will let our guests drink whatever they like. Yes.
Can we be a YOB?
So if we can't. I'm not
No
going to let
hard
everybody
liquor.
bring the hard stuff.
No
though.
hard liquor
No
for you.
hard booze. I have enough trouble dealing with people with the wine.
No absent Monica. No.
But a lot of good changes, a lot of fun changes are coming to this show. I really look forward to showing you guys that. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel because I really want to move the show to a platform that's going to pay us.
Yes, please.
Because we don't
Subscribe
charge artists,
to our YouTube
right?
channel.
We don't charge artists. We don't charge anybody to come out. It's kind of one of the things. Just like nobody charges you to play your music, I don't want to charge you to show your art. Especially when it comes down to you bringing all your equipment in a tent that costs you $500 worth.
Y'all have a
of tent.
GoFundMe, don't you?
We do have a GoFundMe that's Joe Orsak. No, Whine No Whine. Whine No Whine.
Patreon. As well.
It's a Patreon
Oh yeah,
as well.
Patreon's better.
No wine, no wine,
Okay.
no wine.
So yeah,
Oh,
just-
why no why?
Patreon.com/why-no-why.
You
awesome.
get
All
Matthew
right.
McConaughey to do that
So
too.
if you
He-
guys need,
like the guy would.
if you're an artist looking to be booked for the show, if you're an artist looking to be part of art events, if you are a patron looking for abstract conceptual art, or if you are a anybody really, just reach out to me. I'll I'll get you what you need.
Pretty much. He's like the center of all the Houston art.
That is, I'm trying to become a little hub here,
If
and
you're a business that wants to be seen by thousands of people.
yeah, if you're a business that wants to be seen by thousands of people, like I'm going out next week and finding some sponsors for our show, reach out to us and get your commercial on our show, and we can collab. If you look at the shares on this, my promotional technique says that there's 69 shares on just this one event. So
69.
69.
That's a magic number.
Our host is great.
Glass of wine.
But we also host the open mic at Avant Garden every Tuesday. We do this Thursdays now, moving
Shout
to
out to
Saturdays. Yeah, my partner in Texas Music and Art, Harley Meyer, does that, and then he also does a Thursday show in spring, which is a kind of a invite-only open mic, if you will. But they got a pool, so we are moving the show to Saturdays, and I'm going swimming in Old Town. Right?
Very nice. Very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
it's pretty neat.
Live for the pool.
Yeah, check it out. It's on the Texas Music and Art page, and then
Is it and art or is it ampersand art?
it's the word and AND space art. If you want to at me, it's and Art Network at and Art Network. And Art Network on Instagram, and Art Network on Facebook and
email.
YouTube. Email is andart.email@gmail. So yeah.
Very nice.
Yes,
Find them
indeed. I think I want to say one more thing. I really can't get it out of my head though.
Okay, then.
Give me 1 second. Give
Okay,
me 1 second.
1 second. You got
Give me 1
3,
second.
2,
Um,
1.
Shoot, I can't remember what it is. It's just killing me. I'll post it to the event later. Make sure you check. That's what it was. Check out our Whine No Whine show and artistry events. There's going to be lots of new stuff happening inside the event. We're going to start to do a giveaway or two, so be on the lookout.
Very nice.
Yes.
Love it.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Chris.
No problem.
My name's Monica Gauna. I'm with Spotlight Entertainment. We've got a magazine that's launching in 2 months. No clicks, no paid interviews. We're going to cover the Houston music scene correctly.
Very
that's
nice.
right.
With no more of this BS, because we all know it's going down. Tillman Fertitta, call me. Advertising. But we're going to do things correctly. Also, I'm looking for new talent. We don't do pay to play. We don't screw our bands. We don't do any funny contracts, and we don't take your money. So give us a call, 346-208-9259. I don't really like to deal with the internet very much.
We may disagree on some things, but we definitely agree on some stuff.
The Houston music
Welcome
scene
to the
needs a
show.
little
Mhm.
fix.
That's right. I think the artist scene, the visual art scene, needs the same fix.
Hey,
Honestly,
call me.
Heck yeah, we're gonna do it.
All right. I'm the host, but I would love to have a little bit of a shameless plug.
Of course.
Only.
Give it to her.
Oh,
Give her
thank
the
you.
plug.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Caitlin Lysat. You can find me on Multiverse Art. I'm on Facebook and Instagram with both. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
In August, I have 2 events, and I'm super excited for them. You should be too. At Insomnia, the last 2 Fridays of the month of August. We have August 17th and August 31st. We got our totally awesome album art show, and a totally to the max 80s awesome ass art show.
I saw that on
I'm
your
so
I
excited.
love the 80s.
I got album art and the 80s, and oh my goodness, I feel like I've been stuck in the 80s since before I was born. So I'm really excited for this.
She's gonna post links to her stuff.
I
on the
will.
event,
I will
too.
post links to my event and on the page. I will spam everybody, so you'll find me.
I'm teaching her well how to spam.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job. I'm
Pretty
learning.
good at it.
I'm learning. So thank you very much.
I'm gonna do some
Alrighty.
closing thoughts.
I want to do
everybody?
some closing arguments. Wrap it all up. Some closing thoughts. Who wants to start? Let's go on over to you.
Again.
All I have to say is that when I say that I believe in the business owner's right to discriminate, I'm not talking about a lot of what-isms. I'm talking about what's going on right here, right now. And it's okay for you to make a choice of what you want to do with your life as far as what you want to support, whether it's based on religion or whatever. What's not okay is just judge based on skin color, sexuality, stuff like that. But if you do that, we're not going to support you anyway. So what matters? I mean, free market.
Peace. Alright, how about you?
Yeah, I really think it comes down to the difference between, I know I've said this a couple times, but there's a difference between self-preservation and self-projection of...
Keep saying it.
That's like the
really
feeling.
good.
I like
That's
it. I like
really
it.
good.
I'm going to coin that kind of like term.
You really do.
Of, you
I think
know,
I've heard it.
of this is a line of what I'm,
I know what Dr. Drew.
you know, of what I'm okay with, and then there's a difference between saying, you know, I think I'm not going to serve you because of what you are,
Yeah.
or I'm not going to do this because of what I am. You know what I mean? Of like knowing that difference, and it's been interesting going through this episode, kind of replaying some of those instances in my head. I mean, I still can't get over the we hate Norwegians. I really want to know who that was, because I've never heard of anybody discriminating
wanted to use
against
something that nobody hates.
goddamn Vikings.
I want to use somebody nobody hates.
But you know, of like instances where like I've been asked to do stuff that I was uncomfortable with, that
Very
you know
nice.
that
All right.
I refused of, like.
Yeah, self-preservation.
Yeah.
I love it. You really need to coin that. Put it on a t-shirt. What about you, Miss Chris?
So to me, the definition of discrimination would be your basic human rights. As an American, we have decided that you have the right to your religion, you have the right to your race, and you have the right to
Your sexuality?
your sexuality. Your sexuality. Well, it's new. It is a thing. That is a thing
yeah,
now.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
new. I
So,
forgot. There weren't rights to it for a while.
Right. So those three things.
It's a privilege.
It's life, liberty, and the pursuit of.
There it is. Thank
I'm not
you.
trying to be dick.
But we those are civil rights. As we're not gonna say
I'm sorry.
we're not gonna say we
drunk.
can't serve you because of your color, your religion, or because of your sexuality. Now, outside of that, you have the right to refuse service because it is not discriminant. It is, I think you're a bad person. Do you see where I'm going with that? Like it's if you're a Nazi, you can say you're a Nazi, I'm not serving you. But you can't say you're black. Nope. You can't say you're Christian.
So
Th-
some
there's
people
those-
are okay
there's-
to discriminate against other people.
Well,
Thank you.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, Chris.
America
but-
was founded on some basic
Are we
principles.
using Nazis because they killed 6 million Jews?
No,
Yes.
I'm using.
Or are
I'm
we
using.
6 million.
Or are we using that because of an action they did that was wrong? Because there's plenty of other people that have done
Nazi is just a
wrong
belief
things.
system.
How
Well,
come we
because
never
you're
talk
not
about
religious.
Leo? That's
Just
what I
like
want to know.
if
He
you
killed
were
twice
a
as many
rapist,
people.
if you were
These are closing.
a felon,
Closing
that you,
Part 2.
you know, there's a lot of
Norwegian
things that you can say no. I'm not serving you because of this. But those basic ones that we've created these
Like the basic laws. that we
laws
set
that
forth.
have brought us out of the '60s. I think that
The 60s were awesome. Except for that stuff.
if you were a white person, I agree. Not so much if you were a minority, but done.
Very nice. All right, I like it. How about you, Mr. Chris? What's your closing thought?
there was that last question that popped up about
That's right.
if your God is love or whatever, and that was kind of in my mind. And,
Oh, that is
yeah. One of the things I just wanted to clarify was being a Christian. If I say that I can't serve somebody because of their sexuality or whatever, it's not because I don't love them. The God that I serve and the God who loves me is true love. And he says in the Bible that you should hold fast to your faith, but lead not into temptation. Or lead not into sin. And so if based off of my religion, lying with another man is against my religion, I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, I'm not going to hate somebody that does that, because my God wouldn't hate that person either, because God loves everybody equally. So God's not going to say, Jesus, for example,
If you were a prostitute,
Jesus loves prostitutes.
Jesus loved everybody
Okay,
equally.
Chris.
I'm just saying. I'm done.
That doesn't sound right.
Now, Jesus did turn away from some people because of how they acted, but it's not that he didn't love them. He still loved them equally, and he was still there for them. And
You
still
can
their
love
savior.
people from afar.
But let's just closing
like hell.
our God is true love. So I feel like
You're making me cry.
the country we live in, it's a privilege to live here, and I feel like the people that live in this country need to
Concur with that.
They need to get into their head that not everything's about you.
Yes.
We have a market that is the best in the world, but it's not gonna be easy. It's not something that's just like you can have it your way all the time, because like the fight for equality, no one's ever gonna be equal.
Nope.
This country will never ever ever be equal, because if it is, then
Communism.
my faith is wrong.
Well,
And God created everybody in his image, and everybody's different. I'm different than you. I think differently than you, and you, and you, and you. So if I was told to...
Well, equal isn't the same.
Equal is actually
Equal is the same.
the
Technically,
definition of the same.
Equal is balance. Same is synonymous, like, Well, I'm sorry.
The
That's,
fight,
that's
the,
just
the
semantics
fight,
anyway.
the fight for
I have
Pound of lead and a
thesaurus.
pound of feathers kind of
I'll
thing.
fight
Like,
you.
the fight for equality is that everybody gets the same thing, and if that happens, people aren't going to be happy. Because
Everybody
some
has
people
the
want more.
same chance, but the end results
Exactly.
are not
No,
going
what
to
you
be
guys
equal
Everybody has the
because
same chance.
wow, you
It's what
guys
you do
are
with your
talking
life.
about is not equality. You're talking about communism.
Equal
Oh,
opportunity.
I'm talking.
Or-
I'm talking about basic human rights as people.
what are human rights? Can you name them?
The only
Oh.
right, the only
She got a book in her back
The-
pocket.
the only-
She's
I
about to-
don't have a book in my back pocket, but I know what the
The
quote
only-
human rights are. I'm
the
just
only
saying.
rights the only rights that
Alright,
us as
alright, don't talk over
the
each
only
other.
rights as us as U.S. citizens, the only rights that we have are stated in the Constitution. Everything else is a privilege.
Alrighty.
We have the
Very
privilege
beautiful.
to
Very
say
good job.
I want to be gay. We have the privilege to say
The
I
freedom
want
of
to.
religion.
Well, sexuality is a privilege. Being able to walk out of my
Sexuality
house.
is new, and we're
It
we're
is.
going through
but
this.
but
Okay,
it is
that's a
new.
different
That's why I'm
topic.
saying.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's a privilege.
Alright.
What we are guaranteed as U.S. citizens is stated in the Constitution. Everything else that we get and are granted, and everyone else goes along with, is a privilege. And that's what we need to look at. Is we're so privileged to be in this country that we need to stop focusing on the negative stuff here and there that's this big, and look at we've got this whole world, this whole country that we live in, that we're privileged to live in, and have all these freedoms, yet we take advantage of it and look at the negative stuff and project that on a big screen so everybody can be like, oh, that person hates that person, and that person hates that person. I don't hate him because he might have said this because that person accused him of it.
Heck yes, that's why
That's
we
not-
have the.
That's
Or
not.
that's just-
That's not
Why
why
no
this
wine
year.
show. Yes.
I
This
think
is how we
kid
debate
won,
here.
Won the whole show right here. Honestly.
I
I'm
love
just
it,
gonna
yes.
put that out there right now. Good
Alright.
job, Mom.
17 years old.
Here's
killing me in debate.
Here's what I'll close with.
I-
Here's what I'll close with. So
Okay.
your art, for example, when I looked up there, I thought that's a crazy painting. Now for me, my taste isn't gore. Your taste is. I'm not gonna sit here and say that's ugly. I don't like that. I'm gonna say that's a good painting. You did a really good job painting that.
All that blood.
Because I love you and appreciate your work. I don't even know you, but I can still sit here and say I love you and I love your work. Would I buy that and put that in my room? Probably not. But that's not me attacking you. That's just my taste. But
Very nice.
what we've been accustomed
I do have
to.
other
What,
work.
I'm feeling so attacked right now. It's okay, man.
but what we,
It's not
I have
all
other
TV,
stuff.
yeah.
I have other stuff.
Why do you hate Norwegians? I just want to know.
But with that-
They
Why
haven't done
why
anything.
do you hate
What did they
Norwegians?
do to
but, with
you?
that, but with that being said,
I
we've
think
become
somebody
accustomed.
thought I was Norwegian, but
No.
With that
I'll
being
tell you
said,
about it.
we've become accustomed to take that as a personal shot, and I feel like that's wrong.
I understand.
I'm right there with you,
Beautiful.
man.
There's a
Beautiful, I
beautiful
love
piece
it.
of art right there.
There you go. A voodoo.
Voodoo.
It's the Buju.
For a small fee, for a small fee, Alex's work is available. This isn't gory.
Wait,
Do you notice?
yeah.
Just saying.
This is actually a photo taken in Korea.
Dude, that's badass.
That is
amazing.
boojulicious.
That is awesome.
It's amazing painting.
cool. I quite like it.
I like it.
He's got a lot of good work.
That
Make
is a
sure you
really
go
badass
check out
painting.
his
Good job.
Instagram.
It's amazing.
Instagram. All right. Anyway. All right. Thank you guys. I love you. Thank you for being on my show.
Thanks for tuning in,
All right,
everybody.
and thank you for tuning in. We will be here tomorrow, 6 p.m. live.
The original edition.
The original edition. We're the artist edition. I like to say we're cooler because I'm on it.
Because we're That's why we're cooler.
Please, please, please support the
And work
show
with
at www.patreon.com/wine no wine. The wine like the drink, and then no wine like don't complain. All right. Thank you very much, Nicole Dalji, EXP Realty,
Nice.
Dean DeBassi, First Choice
that
Home
one.
Loans, Phil and Derek's Jazz Bar in Midtown,
Still need to
and
over
Go
it.
7 Life Insurance with Joe Orsak, our host. Yeah. And please, please, please follow us on YouTube.
Yes, we need
Facebook.
YouTube followers.
We don't need Facebook anymore. We need YouTube. We need you at YouTube. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's the same. YouTube.com/The Whine No Wine Show. Thank you. The Whine No Wine Show. With the W.
Sure.